This week, the Motorhead Garage crew installs a high-tech stereo that looks like original equipment for a classic, a device to take away throttle delay, the simple tool that made a rare Jeep vehicle restoration easier, and other must-haves for your garage. Coming up next on Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings.
Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Motorhead Garage is presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
This is Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, and that right there, that is a great looking 1971 Chevrolet pickup truck. We have fond memories of those when we were growing up, seeing those driving around. You know what? Riding in them wasn't that great. When it came to stereo sound, you had none. It had an AM radio that came factory, and that was it. And if you had a speaker, it was just like a little clock radio up in the dash. Well, guess what? You can have modern sound now in a vehicle like this, and you don't have to spoil the good looks of the vehicle. You don't have to tear up the dash, thanks to Custom Autosound. They have radios that look period correct for your vehicle. They cover all kinds of makes and models. I counted 16 different makes and hundreds of different models to fit your vehicle. Now, Custom Autosound, it's not just about good looks. These are quality stereos. Their process of testing is second to none. First of all, there's a temperature and aging test to make sure that these are going to stand up to the rigors of any weather, an extreme temperature test for the cold and the hot, and a vibration test, because let's face it, you're going to put this in a hot rod, you're going to have a great engine underneath, it's going to try to shake everything loose. The Custom Autosound radio is going to stand up to that torture test. Now, when it comes to the stereos, like I said, you can find the one that's going to fit your make and model, but if they don't have one specifically for your vehicle, they also have universal radios. They all look great, and like I said, they're going to be period correct. They're going to look fantastic. Custom Autosound doesn't stop at the head unit. They also have custom fit speakers for all positions in the car, universal speakers if they don't have specific ones for your vehicle, and again, they all fit the original look of that car. Also, with Custom Autosound, I mentioned modern conveniences. Well, guess what? You can have Bluetooth, CD or DVD, noise filter. It's a hideaway antenna if your vehicle can accommodate that. And of course, you can plug in your MP3 player and have all your tunes with you when you go cruising down the street in your hot rod. And when it comes to installation, couldn't be simpler. The thing I love about the Custom Autosound system here is everything is color-coded and it's labeled and it comes to you that way. You look here on this unit, here's a USB port to plug in your MP3 player if that's the way you connect. Gives you some options. And here's the microphone plug if you're using Bluetooth, and Bluetooth is so important these days, and it's mandatory in a lot of places. You want to be hands-free, of course. And if you have a subwoofer, they have a place for that to go out as well. Speaking of the other speakers, there's a separate harness here for all the speaker wires. Every one of them is color-coded. Every one of them is labeled, so you know exactly where those are going. Now, this truck actually doesn't have any speakers in it right now. We're going to put some kick panel speakers in it from Custom Autosound a little later on, so that's all we need to hook up once we get these in. Now, there's a second harness back here we've already connected here, and that's for power. So we'll plug that into the bottom of our unit here. We did remove the glove compartment. That's going to make installation a whole lot easier. We've learned that in these C10s through the years. And you might have to do some yoga and a little bit of finagling to get some stuff into your vehicle, but it's really not that hard. The glove compartment coming out of these things is not hard. It's just a piece of cardboard and some screws, and you are all set to go. Now here we get the power harness connected. Once I get that in the back of the unit, it just goes in with a click and you know it's in there and it's seated because you can feel it go in here, and we'll run it in behind the dash. We move the stereo up in here. It's perfect fit already. Now we've got a couple of nuts here. Actually, washer first. Fits right over the top there. We're going to run these nuts down. It'll hold it in place. And Custom Autosound, as I mentioned, has stereos for so many different makes and models, and you can bet it's going to look perfect with your vehicle once you get it in the dash. And once you get that first nut on there, it's a great idea to get a socket. You can just, it's a little easier way to get some leverage on that to run that nut down. We'll do the same thing on the other side there while it's holding on there. When you're doing anything with your vehicle, it's an important thing to remember to take your time, especially with a classic like this, because it's a one-of-a-kind. You don't want to ding it. You don't want to make any mistakes with the wiring in the back. You don't want to get stuff hung up. Take your time. We preach that on Tech Garage as well. It's worth taking the time if you love keeping your vehicle. And here, the nuts can be A little tricky, and that went on just fine. And again, run it down with that socket wrench. You're gonna love the way this thing trims out. This is so cool. Once we got that on, we have two parts of the knobs here, the backing on it. You can find it's notched perfectly to fit on there, and same with the button itself. Once you get it to rotate on there, look how that fits on that side. It makes it look like an authentic stereo, and this is great. Being the slide bar radio, check this out. You park it, it looks like an analog radio back from 1971, and when you want to get going then, you flip it the other way, turns into a digital readout, and you get to see your digital tuning, and you get to see who's on the Bluetooth there. Nobody will be any the wiser when your car is parked in the lot. This thing looks authentic, it sounds fantastic, sounds like a brand new stereo. You can find this and any model to fit your vehicle at CustomAutosoundMFG.com. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Don't go anywhere.